What's up, everybody? Back in action, ready for some quality trading here. Hopefully after yesterday's big sell-off, we get a little bit of more conducive price action to what we want to see going forward here today. So let's get on our horses, drink our caffeination, and get ready for the day. Oh, yes. Very nice, very, very nice. We kind of are opening away from my levels that I would like to execute on. Obviously, overnight high, overnight low are a little extended out from where we're at. We're sitting on VWAP, kind of like a decision point here. This was a previous breakout point down into 100 area from the previous contract. So we will watch that as a kind of a draw to where there may be more orders. I don't think we have enough information to push us that much lower. We did have, I mean, Google's earnings were good. It was guided by low. It was pushed down a little bit by their spending in AI, is from my understanding. So they spent a ton of money in AI. I haven't seen the returns on it yet, but that does mean that they are pumping tons of money into NVIDIA, which in turn potentially shows that NVIDIA wants to show some strength. But in the current market, we are selling off NVIDIA still from yesterday. We'll watch the pre-market lows for NVIDIA. We'll watch the pre-market lows for Microsoft. Kind of at a support level as well. So let's see. We are now open. It's not going to help me much that the opening range is going to be at or around VWAP. So I'm going to kind of just be chilling here for a bit. Let this thing kind of dance around. Let the S&Ps. Yellow is that overnight range for the S&Ps. This white line here will change to red for a previous day low. That's just so it's congruent with everything here. I didn't turn that blue either, so I'll do that later. We'll get started on the opening range here. I'm sure that's going to be a little bit higher. As it extends, maybe there's a way eventually to get Top Step X to auto-populate in opening range, and then I'll not have to do this part, but I'm not trading this opening range when it's this close to VWAP anyway, so it's fine. There it goes, the downside, which is nice. I want to see it, I really want to see a nice flush of that overnight low. If we could flush previous day lows, that'd be great too. Fine with that. But we're going to have to see what's going on with it. Same deal here. So this purple box that I draw up pretty much every single day now for you guys is that 1 minute opening range. You can see that there. I'm just going to kind of have it a little off to the side. I like to see this thing kind of push all the way down into our overnight lows. That'd be really nice, or even into that 19,100 area. Kind of try and sweep that area. Get some of the people who were short yesterday, maybe wanted to continue the short today, sweep those lows, fail that overnight low, and rotate us back higher. Could do it here at the previous day low. So I'm going to be watching that. Maybe if we get a heavy sell side tilt, or if I get some information from NVIDIA. Everything right now seems like it's heavy. Delta's pretty heavy. It seems like a fair breakdown. Maybe get down into that lower band of VWAP, which should be congruent with close to or at around that overnight low when we get there. So I'm just going to watch, be patient on this. I need to get some more information. That touch and go, if that's all that it is, it's still just not enough for my setup. Could play the breakdown of it, right? If it pops up into the opening range, fails that opening range, fails VWAPs, you play the short through the previous day low, looking to catch down into at least maybe 120, down into the overnight low. This wick candle here, 730, that's the news-driven wick. The numbers that we got were a little bit, back and forth, right? Durable goods was negative 0.6. GDP growth rate shows that we have a little bit of growth in the GDP, 2.8 as opposed to previous 1.4. And then the jobless claims was lower than it's expected. So things to keep in mind with why that kind of whipped around. Maybe we want to clean that up a little bit. But lower jobless claims, better, stronger workforce, whatever. That's not even it's just an initial. It's not an official number. They're looking for the actual jobless claims numbers for that. If we can get S&Ps down into that red line, then maybe we can start to look for the fate of this. But this is previous day low. Let's see if it's going to accept below yesterday's low and then continue on, clean up some of this, or are we going to continue to just bounce right off of it and go? It seems like the NQ wants to accept. NVIDIA's right at pre-market lows. Delta is still straight down. no real showing of an aggressive buyer stepping up. I don't see any big size on the order book right now. Trying to find some size on this book. It's 22, 20. Didn't quite even get it down into that value area low. I would kind of anticipate that to come into play a little bit more. There's a somewhat of a size that keeps flashing. I know I can't see what it is, but it's one of those red bars that flashes up overhead at 167-ish. So we're pushing right into that now. Let's see if it gets filled on the time and sales. Watch for like a 167, 168 fill. Continuation through looks good. Now S&P's attacking that level, see if it's going to reject right off or if we're going to get a flush down below it and rotate out. If it starts to rotate, if S&P starts to accept back above and starts to creep back up, then we may have time to get into this break back above the previous day low as our return back the other way. But I would love to see this down at overnight lows. That's my real bread and butter, right? It's going to be a little more extended. It'll give me a better reason to kind of take that bounce from the overnight low to rotate us back through and up into VWAP or, higher, depending, just to kind of recover some of what happened yesterday. But it still could keep melting off. I mean, NVIDIA is still selling. It's a beautiful rainy day here again in the Houston area. The July rains still coming down. Apparently it's going to rain all day. Never quite got to that previous day low again. I mean, it came right to it and rejected it. So you can see how reactive those previous day levels are. We're going to flush through this low here potentially, which would be nice. Keep going down, get to that overnight low. Wait for the timing maybe if we get to pushing into this overnight low, see if the S&P is going to catch up or if it's going to stop at 54, 58 and start to rotate the other way. If we do start to creep this up and get up and keep going at 54, 64, beyond, then watch to see if we'll rotate back over the previous day low. These are the two levels that I'm interested in. Previous day and overnight low. This is a good area for a bounce, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that it happens now. I will try one shot at a buy through that previous day low. I don't want to just get wicked in. I want to get in it and get some pop out of it. That's a nice strong delta candle. If I get triggered in and get wicked out, so be it. But this seems like a nice entry criteria for at least a quick hit right off the jump. Get ourselves in the green to start. The bounce was definitely at 120. You can see right here the support level. Support. NVIDIA wicked the low and started to creep back up. S&P's is still holding above their previous day low. I want to see what happens maybe at VWAP here. If it's going to reject VWAP and rotate again. If it gets through this low again, then this is going to stay and hold down here. I don't know if I trust it quite yet, to be honest. You can see right here, right now, making that decision if it's going to crack and continue. And if it does, yellow line is coming in to play. Maybe a nice flush of the 120, the low of that candle. This news candle here, clean up the news candle, clean up those prints. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this order for a second because I saw some interesting freezing on my computer real quick. It was a very slight, weird thing going on, so I just don't want to be triggered in and not be able to understand what's going on with my computer. So just making sure that all the connections are good. Seems okay. All right, we're going to be watching this low, see if this holds or not. You can see all this information right here to the left pre-market. Here's that low. I want to flush through that overnight low, get to go into the downside, trying to give you some information on what's lower. That level is 62, right? So let me get over to here, go over to 62. 62, maybe down to 40, 19,040. You know, flush into that 19,040 level. Gives you a nice little support to bounce off of. Because then if that gives up, then there's a little bit of a, push down all the way down to 18,000, 19,000 even. So that's not a crazy move. I mean, 1,000 points in a day almost, from in 2 days. It's crazy. Crazy. Hope everybody did all right yesterday. I did not take any trades on these accounts. You can see I locked them up pretty much right after I got off stream just to make sure I didn't take any trades. Balances are the same. Just waiting to see what happens here today to give ourselves the opportunity to wait for our levels to come in, see if our plan plays out. If we get the opportunity to play the bounce from the low, great. And if we don't, we don't. But this is a nice little wedge pattern that I like to see normally. You can see I'm having a little bit of price action freezing. I don't know if Top Step X is going to have some issue. I want to make sure I'm not the one that gets affected by it. Yeah. Top Step X. There's a pop to the previous day low. We're so close to VWAP that I'm not going to take this this first pop. I'm not taking it yet. Let this thing kind of manipulate around a little bit. If I miss a trade on it, I miss a trade on it, but I think that we're still in an area where NVIDIA is going to chop around 2. So maybe we get down back into the 140s again and then try to break through it again. I will look to try and grab the long through it. Would have been a nice little quick no heat, at least a break even trade, up 10 points, now up 20 almost. So that was a good spot to take that long through the previous day low. I'm going to be patient on it today just because I don't trust this first break back above. I do like how S&P's is leading us to the upside, which is nice. Maybe get a retest of this previous day low after the VWAP. I was checking, so I was seeing some wiggle and some weirdness in my candles. So I didn't want to execute and get screwed and be stuck in a trade that I didn't really like 100%. So that kind of held me from taking this execution. If you are long through the previous day low, good. You could be trailed out to VWAP and have probably no heat on you still. So my good trade here was missed based on me seeing some technical things going on with my platform, and I didn't want to be screwed by the platform, so I held off, which is fine. At least if I missed a trade, but I saved myself from getting screwed over, and then I'm fine. I would like to see what happens with this previous D low now. If we come back and hold it again, give a flush of it down to 140 and then try and rip up through it. That's all you need to take to 168 to 200. That's a nice little pop. Delta's heavy. Here's your 168 to the low. $600 trade right there. Bang, bang. Per contract. Does it continue downside, or do we get the bounce that we want? So if we get through here, so that wedge that I was talking about right here, that's exactly what I want to see before you get that pop through. And we got it. It was a great little pop. Didn't get my entry in quick enough to get myself in there just based on checking the platform and the connection issues and stuff like that, just because I want to be certain that things are going to get executed correctly. I don't want to be in something if it's wrong and get messed up. And you can see that's kind of a failed breakout. So potentially more downside to come on that if it does hold down here below this previous day low. If we could hold 140, then I will look to see maybe break, retest, and then you rotate through and get your real move through, especially if S&P is going to hold it above VWAP. I'll take this buy over this. I feel like there's some lag going on right now. I don't like it. It might be my weather outside. you know, kind of messing with the internet a little bit. So we're down to 140. Let's see if that'll give me that rotation back up and through. I need S&Ps to hold that level. You can see Delta came back trying to make new lows. Price didn't completely follow through on that. Higher low, if that is the case, and we try and pop up and through it. Well, I'm not looking for a home run. I will take a home run, but I'm looking to try and catch that base hit again, where we are able to secure our, you know, break even, limit our risk, and get through and move into the other side. Just kind of based on the way price action acted this morning, kind of seems like that would be a good idea also. 154.50 is like a key level that I had from prior. That was the breakout high point over back in June. See if we get triggered on this. We're one tick away, so good thing we placed our stop just over that previous candle here. I didn't want to get wicked in and wicked out just like that happened there. So good buy location that it didn't come into it, but that was also indicative of maybe now a deeper pullback. I would love to get it at the overnight low, so that's fine with me if we can get down there and then get our entry. Either way, I'm happy with not being long at this moment, waiting patiently, seeing if we can get some sort of assistance on it. You can see Delta trying to make new lows. Well, Delta did make new lows. There are aggressive sellers trying to step in here, but price is being held up. So potentially being propped up by some sort of large buyer that's not aggressively hitting the bid. So that's another type of divergence. You got in on that. I didn't get in. I didn't get triggered. So you just had your stop. If you got in just a little bit above or a little bit too low, that's why I usually, you know, I could always enter right above it, but I usually get myself a little bit away, give myself a few ticks above that area, so I know that it's a confirmed push through and not necessarily a fail wick like we just did and then move lower. So right now we're going to cancel that order, still flat. Going to wait to see what happens at this overnight low. Can that be the flush point where we just get a nice little push into that 40, 19,040, 19,020, and then rotate back through that overnight low and start to push ourselves back up to the upside. Maybe staying kind of range bound on today. An inside day would be nice. We are now extended outside the previous day low still, right? The previous day low outside of yesterday's range. So still continuing lower, still continuing sell side. It's all good as long as you manage your risk, Carlos. You know, you manage your risk, make sure that you're not oversized on a loss like that where you get triggered in and out. Sometimes that happens. You know, I was one tick away right there from getting triggered in and losing a full loser there. So just kind of understand that could happen. Just get ticked in and wicked out. Usually that's why I go with a stop order to get stopped in the run, because a lot of times those limit orders I'll get, you know, or just even marketing in kind of get screwed over based on not allowing the candle to close or something like that. So let's see if this is going to bounce and hold. We'll get it over that wick. And then if we get down through overnight low, let's see. I want to see this thing down here, overnight low. And it would be good if we could flush the overnight low on the NQ and the previous day low holds as support in the S&Ps, because then that could trigger this long through that overnight low sooner. If not, if we're down below here, let's see if the S&Ps can hold that 54.51 and give our overnight low the idea of pushing lower or popping higher. So let's see what happens with it. I also have this right here. This is the news candle low right there. I'm going to put that as white. to give a little bit of just visibility to that low, because anywhere in that range could react. This is still a reactive area where we're at right now. Not something I'm going to enter on right here, but it is reactive there. It's reactive here. This 80 down to 62, I would expect if we do flush this low here, this wick, that the overnight low could get tagged there for us and help us out and get through it. Still holding that previous day low for the S&Ps. So I do like that still. I'm going to continue to kind of do this idea as I see price starting to creep up, because if I get a pop on it, I'm going to take the pop and then see what happens from there. 154.50 is right here. So that level right there to me seems like an area where if it pops through 154, should pop through here. And then S&Ps, if it gets up, drags us over that VWAP, then NQ should follow somewhere along the lines. 70% short on tilt, so that is another good indication that potentially we go higher. Russell's leading us higher, just pushing straight up. Plenty of wicks down here on the 30-minute. Lots of accumulation, potentially either looking to continue to move lower, or we may rotate back higher. We'll see what happens. We are we're holding below this little bottom end of the channel that I mentioned yesterday. Being patient, letting this thing do its thing, do its little dance around this area. The lack of follow through here kind of gives me the indication that we still, want to push up higher. S&P's still flirting with VWAP, so wants to get through it. If S&P's gets through VWAP, starts to lead us upside. I don't know if you're going to cheat on it. That's up to you. That 54.50 breakout point there. I'm going to wait for our previous day low. If I get wicked in, wicked out, so be it. But I'm waiting for that confirmation to reaccept again a second time. This seems like grab some orders and rotate lower. I would love to see it down at overnight lows, and then we can do this. But overall, S&Ps is still relatively stronger, holding in yesterday's range. Nvidia holding pre-market lows, made a higher low, looking like it maybe wants to hold here at 112.20, kind of dancing around that level, 112.10, 112.20. There is a little bit of resistance at 112.50, 112.47. So if it gets up over that, wait and see. Now another push down. Maybe we crack through here, give you that wick into that 80, 62 area, and then see if that divergence comes in. The Delta has aggressive sellers, like I said here. Aggressive sellers here. This seller seems like it wants to kind of follow through. It needs to break through this low. When price breaks through this low, that lower band of VWAP basically is the low of this candle wick. So we got to see if that's going to play a role. There is a 60 lot down at 100 that could magnetize us down there. There's a buyer here. See if it gets triggered. S&P is still relatively strong, right? Previous day low is here. Previous day low is here. Holding those levels. Cheers. A little caffeination to get my markets moving. Let's see what happens with these. Let's hope my internet stays strong through the rains. Crack of this low pushes you to 100. Maybe gets us down into our levels that we want to see. But we are kind of just in this chop from the overnight that will kind of be needed to just be accumulated as well. And see what happens. See what happens. We've been selling since last Monday. So there's really not, the trend is to the downside. I think that there should be potentially a pop. It doesn't have to be a full rotation back to the gap from yesterday. Oh, that's good. You always want to hear your dog throwing up in the morning. That's my least favorite noise. I think when dogs start to just, you know it's coming. You know when the dog's gonna puke. It's gross. Get outside. Yeah, that's definitely true. So we're going down towards that wick low from the news. S&P is still holding previous day highs. So I would not be surprised if it never makes it to this overnight low. I'm not going to cheat on it. I'm not going to let it go, but wouldn't be surprised if it does. Nvidia is pushing down to lows now, trying to get down through it. Maybe it can wick through our daily low, which helps us down to our overnight low. Get me into this zone that I can start to look for my entries. I need it. I need it down lower. Can't be entering up here. Like I said, don't do dumb shit. And as I mentioned, the don't do dumb shit in the chat here and in the stream, I came through and made a shirt and a mug, and it's up in the website. It's pinned to the top of the chat, and it's in the conversation in Tradecaster. So if you are interested in the don't do dumb shit stuff, it's out there. I'm waiting for this level to breach, get some trapped shorts, and then I want to rotate it. Then that's when I will do so. I have a market buy up here, stop order up here. I mean, we could get really heavy. It could just flush and continue on, and once again, won't have an entry for myself. I think down to 19,000 isn't crazy to think that it's going to get drawn to that. We do have a heavy delta. That is a wick off delta. We went right into that lower band of VWAP, so maybe there is support right here, right now, but I think we do get through this wick here and clean it up. Kind of, if it's snappy and whippy just like that one, then we're good to go with our long. If it's just going to stop right here on a dime and turn around, I mean, we still are strong up here with that S&P. Or is S&P going to catch up to the NQ? Right? If we flush this overnight low, can you short the S&P and try and run it to the overnight low? Potentially. That could be a possibility. Nvidia is still pushing lower. This could be just a setup for the S&P to catch up, which is going to help our timing. There's the break of that level. Needs to break and hold. If we start to get a wedge pattern down here and never make it to the overnight low, then I'll start to look to go long from that. I want to time it correctly, right? I don't want to be wicked in, wicked out, wicked in, wicked out. I don't want to do multiple entries on it. I want to take my one entry and be done. I want this to get down. We're now in an area where we can start to look for an attack. Nvidia is still rolling over pretty heavily, right? There's not very much to the left in Nvidia to give me much idea on support. I need to go back a lot farther on it to see daily, weekly. All right. We cleaned up a gap there in Nvidia. I mean, maybe even down to 106.56 in Nvidia on a weekly. 106. If we crack through this low right now, 106 comes into play, and that's heavy. All right, so now we have a strong push down to that 19,040 level, but that's very heavy. Now I have the S&Ps breaking. So like I said, if you wanted to do it the other way and play the breakdown of the S&Ps to catch up to the NASDAQ, you could have done that. I did not. That's not what I'm looking to do, but it's definitely something that is possible to get played. That's the play potentially. I would like to see this fail this breakdown and rotate back up and then do its thing. But if it's just going to continue to go and go and go, then, this is where yesterday's ignition to the downside was. Today, it could be the same thing, and it could be back-to-back days of just selling straight off and never really getting an opportunity. And the S&P's catching up, right? I want to get down to 54, 51. If we could do that, then potentially then we can rotate off of it and get up and through it. Thank you. I thought I had another. Where is it? All right. Well, we got one today. Oh, Anton's here. Alrighty. Looking like a nice heavy flush here. Like I said, down to 19,000 isn't crazy to think that it's possible. We cracked the bottom of that trend. A lot of things coming into play for this to just rotate straight down. Could be capitulatory, potentially. I don't think necessarily that's the case. It's been heavy all week. You're not, are you going to fight the trend? Is the market just going to continue to roll over? Are we coming back to reality on actual market conditions? This is the level here that had a big volume push, the 48 level. So note that 48 level potentially could be something that does come into play. S&P's never made it to that overnight low. So maybe we do push into that overnight low a little bit further. Maybe we get that lower wedge pattern down here at 19,020. If not, we might get triggered in and long through here right away. Let me just say hello real quick. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, man?
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, you're good. I just wanted to say hi. What's up, Anson?
You trading?
Yeah, I am.
Let's
See how it goes.
Yeah, it's been a rough morning, huh?
Just nothing. I haven't had anything.
Hey, I was curious on the Monday after the assassination attempt, how was the market?
It started to sell, and then it hasn't stopped selling since. Yeah, I mean, it's been straight down for the most part. Right now, it's still going straight down, so we should have capitalized on it, but I'm just doing day to day.
Well, don't let me hold you.
No, you're good.
All right, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, be good.
Yep.
Talking shop. Alrighty, now we're back down here. Overnight lows for the S&Ps just got tagged. See if it's going to hold or if it's going to break. S&Ps, like I said before, was relatively strong compared to the NQ. Size down here right below it. 177 lot at 19,000 even. So watch for 19,000 to come in or get front ran because there is big size at 19,000. So if 19,000 fills, watch for that bounce pop or that wick in the pop, or if that's going to draw us down, that big lot, it seems like somebody front ran it. So that got front run. So watch this wedge pattern here. Exactly what we wanted to see. Type of little bit, even if it's just a couple candles, give that wedge here. Get us up into that yellow line, get us through, and then hopefully we could get right through that white line pretty much immediately on the pop of the overnight low, and then we can start to mitigate and trail our stop, right to even, and then beyond that. NVIDIA is still selling off. I did say 106 could come into play, so we are at the bottom end of a channel, an interesting area for the NVIDIA to bounce, potentially right where we're at right now. So this could all line up right here, right now, where we are going to catch our failed breakout, or we're going to continue on up. 170 at 100. 175. There's 175 contracts sitting at 19,000. I do expect that to get tagged, and or if it drags down through it, that could be very heavy for the markets. See what happens. Watch the time in sales when 19,000 gets touched. I'm sure there's a lot of people trying to front run it, so we may still get selling because of that. See, look at that big order fill. Look at all that fill at 19,000. 80, 10, 15, 15, 40. That's a very large size got filled right there, right then. So are they dragging the market down, or are they looking to manipulate 19,000 and rotate back up? Seems like they're dragging the market down at the moment, like very, very initially. If it comes back up over 19,000, watch for those orders to either come back or disappear. I'm going to see if there's any more size on this. There's a 50 lot here at 980. Very heavy. Once again, I think that pretty much since last Monday, right? You have the Trump attempted assassination. Markets pretty much has sold off since that CPI wick off high. We have just started this downtrend again, and we have now created basically a lower low in the entire market, for the continuous contracts. Trying to see downside, like I said, I think down into 19,000. After 19,000, you have now down to 978, which is what we just kind of tagged off on. After 978, we have 930. 940, 930, 940. This level right here, the 78 level, was a key breakout point on June 5th. So that 78 is very reactive as well. So watch for that to be an accumulation zone from the previous breakout. If that's going to just continue to fail, markets may get red and bloody over the next foreseeable future, because I don't see very much propping it up. I mean, we're getting just lots of geopolitical risk, and this is potentially order flows just flowing out of risk. That's really all I can think of as far as this is concerned. You got good news that started the selling, and then you started to compound it with concerning news, right? Geopolitical risk, U.S. political risk. Will there be an election? Who's going to be the president? What's going to go on with the economy? You know, with Trump, with whoever the DNC chooses, all that stuff is coming into being a factor. You know, it's not like an immediate, hard sell, but it is steady and controlled, and seemingly it's big players fleeing the market for the time being. Even if they're done right now, that was a really big sell-off from the top. And I'm going to still go long through this overnight low. So if it does go there, I'm going to do it. Play my failed breakout, give it a shot. But over here, it only did it once. So we will probably only have one opportunity at it if it wants to continue downside, to get triggered in, mitigate our risk, and then get away from it. As long as it holds 19,000, then our entry is potentially safe. If it just continues to flush 19,000, it could be another day of no trades for me. Just back-to-back days of just pure melts with limited ideas for entries. The only entry idea I did have was that I called out to you guys was that short from 54.62 on the S&Ps for the S&Ps to catch up to the NASDAQ, right? It was showing relative strength for a long time, and then it failed it. Russell pulled back a lot, kind of coming back into reality. The S&Ps is well below opening range. Russell is above the opening range, so still small caps, still getting some of the flows. I don't see any size on the book right now, so natural price action taking place. Still below this lower band of VWAP. If it holds back above it, maybe starts to rotate, give us that higher low, then we can get our breakout, which would be nice. Maybe get something like that. Maybe push up into 40, come back down, support 19,000, rotate out, or it's doing it right now. Stuff I'm thinking about. Nothing for me still. Here's what we got. Don't do dumb shit. That's going to keep you in this game, right? Don't chase that falling knife. Don't do dumb shit. We got it in a shirt, and we also got the mug. And I also created the don't do dumb shit. I gave you those two, but I also kind of gave you the inspirational bull tee as well. Subtly, he's rocking the don't do dumb shit cup in there. So he's giving you sound sage advice from the inspirational bull. So head over to the website, check out the don't do dumb shit swag line. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. I think this is just going to stay straight down. Just don't have any NVIDIA. If the flows are out of NVIDIA, this market's done for now. A lot of people are saying it's going to be huge. It's going to be the biggest ever. Let me tell you, it's going to be the biggest. Biggest line. Don't do dumb shit. It's huge. It's perfect. I'm no Shane Gillis. The ultimate Trump impression. We are at that area where I'm thinking that NVIDIA could bounce from that 106.50-ish area. So potentially see if that's going to keep going downside. I should be making so much money on these shorts, based on what I talked about in my write-up on Sunday. I pretty much talked about how exactly this price action would line up for the breakdown of our gap and then rotate and continue to sell off with heavy pressure. And I just didn't catch it, right? Like, the market's been so tricky over the last, few months that when you're a perma bear and they did a good job of just wearing me out on my short ideas. I'm going to get rid of this order. I don't want to get triggered into anything. Now we are extended away from my levels. It is a really nice round level. It went right through the 19,000. There was a huge order there pulling it to it and then through it. Your trade here was potentially the S&P short to catch up. That was the trade. And I could have executed it based on just trying to see if I could get that to play out. And it would have been nice and clean and not really any issues. So just kind of noting what I've seen over the last few days, adjusting to the price action. It could just be a straight selling rest of the... I mean, like I said, I'm up on the week. In the last 2 days, I have not forced in things that I don't want to play with. We do have 3 funded XFAs. You can see all flat, no trades executed. If we go over to Performance Center, you can see as of yesterday, yellow, note, no trade there, no trade there, no trade there, right? And we are on the 25th. So we are executing our plan. We're not doing dumb shit. We are good to go. With our plan, and we just need to wait, be patient. Like, I mean, it's cool to catch these shorts, and I see the short coming, right? You see this previous day low breakdown, potentially looking to be, the right move there. But overall, like I said, my strategy, when I'm sticking to it, I got to let it play out, and I'm not going to go ahead and deviate from it right now. What did I say? The 48, the 58. Where was that breakout point? Let me go back to a daily. And I'm going to take off all the drawings. Get myself back into doing some analysis quick on my ideas for looking to the left, seeing what's going on. Very, very heavy selling going on. There's not much support as far as where we extended to. This could be 100% pullback on that extension, that fib extension that I had. Where's the... hide the drawings. There we go. I can finally see better. So we cracked through that breakout point at 19,000. What was that point that I said? 19,025 gave up. 19,000 gave up. 19,045. Really, that right there, 19,025.50. Pushing into now, previous breakout point would be 18,710. That's the previous breakout point. Another area of ignition, 710. On top of that, there is some potential support, 797, around 800. So kind of still down in these areas here. So as we approach old areas, you'll see them there. We're not getting any sort of indication of a turnaround right this second. Very heavy, very, very, very heavy. I should be able to capitalize on these, but I did not, and it's all right. The last 2 days, talked about how the selling probably will come in. We just haven't got anything. Yeah, we're just flat today so far. We're good. Are they good? They're playing? Boys are playing. See what? What? Them? You want them on the camera? Oh, okay. I fall into a burning ring of fire. It goes down, 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 and the flames get higher. No, you can't see that. Oh, that's what you meant. I was like, what are you talking about? You have...
I'll make
Coffee.
Because today I'm gonna need 2 cups.
If you don't have enough, then don't.
It's okay. I'll make some more.
Okay. Coffee delivery coming in hot. 73% short, giving you a heavy tilt. We're a little bit away from our levels, but I do have, if I can get into some support, I may like to see it.
Did you put it copper or Ethiopia? Which one you make?
The Ethiopia.
I'll make coppers.
Like that little bit of a bounce there, but you're extended, as I said, from your levels. So be cautious. Don't be trying to pick bottoms again. Scott, don't pick bottoms. There's not a reason to do it yet. You could, I mean, like you said, if you have a larger account, if you have a play in your playbook that says, okay, this is an area, this is a zone, 18,900 is a very important level. You already picked one to help you made money on it. Stop trying to pick bottoms. All right, as long as you got if you made money on it, lock yourself out on that. If you're up $1,100 on a long idea, get rid of it, close it up, lock it out. You just made back what you lost. Oh, you actually yesterday you lost 2K, right? So, ooh, halfway back. I mean, like I said, it's up to you. Stick to your plan. Don't do dumb shit. You don't have to make anything. It would be nice to get back a 900 more. However, you don't need to do anything. You need to stick to your plan. You need to figure out what your trade opportunity is going to be and then execute on it. If I could get the S&Ps to start creeping back up over VWAP, going that way, I will like to execute back, accepting in above the overnight low. This could easily be a big accumulation down below that 19,000 level. Yeah, I mean, the 30-minute is really looking like it grabbed all the liquidity that it wanted, and now it's kind of trying to hold. If it can get back and hold above 18,970, which is another key level that I have drawn up here, that 970 area, then that's going to start to be bullish for it to continue on holding, and then let it, maybe pull back a little, get above 19,000. Like I said, maybe even push into the overnight low, pull into 19,000, then start to rally. But with the acceptance, if this 54.51 gets accepted, then you continue on. If it rejects, then the sell side continues. Use these S&P levels to help you out. You got that lower band of VWAP. You got a nice push in Delta. Starting to get aggressive on the buying. There we go. A nice little push up through 19,000. There's a nice break here. Break down. Does 19,000 hold? You see 54.51 is holding. 19,000 is holding. If it cracks, you got to wait to see what happens. I'm in the game of being patient. I'm in the game of allowing my theses to kind of play out. I'm able to be a lot more consistent that way. I don't give back as much money on that. I want to see things do what would force me into a trade and not force my trade onto the market, if that makes any sense. When I do that, that's when I get myself into trouble. When I need to make $900 more, then that's when I make sure I burn my account or go full loss on the day, right? So just understand that that's going to happen. Try not to force your will onto the market. Try not to force what you're doing. Let the market make you make a decision. Realistically, what we just did there, that pushed through 19,000 and now starting to get bid up from the 18.9 area and then maybe hold. And if you can pop through 19,000 again, kind of show that strength for a, not a full complete recovery from yesterday, but at least maybe a rotation to kind of clean up market highs from today, overnight highs before making another leg down. But that's just going to be a wait and see. Is that going to play out, right? If this can break and hold 54.51, then maybe I can get my overnight low breakout coming in. You know, maybe 19,000 does have some big size sitting there again. I don't see it. There's something front running it. 30 contracts. You know, nothing on the book there that's very indicative of a seller or a big buyer. 18,999. You know, is this the point where you want to go breakout? Could be. Break above 19,000, risking 20 points below. You know, that was a nice little push. We're accepting above it. We're accepting overnight lows. VWAP is going to be important for the S&Ps. Is probably going to get to VWAP right around the time we get to overnight lows. If it breaks through it, then potentially we can carry our, trade that way. Or if we do this rising wedge pattern, the short through 19,000 could be a play as well. You know, fighting the trend is hard. If you go with it, your moves may continue to push in your direction. New high in Delta, new high in price. Delta still seems aggressive. A lot of these pushes down seem to be just getting caught back up. 19,014 has a 100 lot at 19,014. See if that 19,014 gets tagged or not. There's a 100 lot sitting there right here. This could be a reason for market to break down too. Failed breakout, rotate back. Right here. Are they still in the book at 14? I don't see it. 60 lot below. I don't know if the 14 got tagged or not. Don't think it did. 909. Seems like people are maybe front running it a little bit. We'll see what happens if it hits 14, if that order is hidden or if it's still there. Still hasn't quite made it there. Like I said, we're not trying to pick a bottom. We're trying to find the rotation of the other side of it. Good morning, Jofi. How we doing? Could this failure of this 19,000 now be the time when it gives you that next leg lower? But NVIDIA is starting to creep up. This is a long wicking 30-minute candle. Overnight low coming closer into play. That 14 got hit and that size definitely disappeared, so I don't see it on the book. Up overhead at 30. No, it's not that big of a contract. A couple different sizes up there that kind of flashed and then disappeared. Flashing at 19,000 again. 20 lots. It feels like people are just trying to mess around that level, and I don't really want to mess with it. I want it to rotate that way. Are we trapping shorts again or trapping longs again here at 19,000, trying to trick them into getting long through 19 and then failing it and rotate down potentially? I'm not going to play it, but I'm just kind of talking it through. Maybe if you fail through that 65 level again, you probably make a new low, push into those 44s. If we can get over this overnight low, I'm going to be trying to get in. I don't know if I'm going to go on first touch or if I'm going to go. That 19,000 long was nice for whoever took through there. You're basically messing with that 20 points, 20 points, 20 points, 30 points. Are enough shorts trapped for this to be a long? I'll get long through the overnight low. Buying with strength. See if NVIDIA could get us up to 112 or something like that. That can kind of help push us. Like I said, I'm not trying to catch a huge move. If it gives it to me, great. I'll be very happy. I'm not very good at the long side as far as trailing out those moves. If the S&P rejects VWAP, then we're going to probably get triggered in and stopped out. But if it could get through VWAP and get towards that 54.62, then we could at least catch ourselves that quick 20 points here, right? From 62 up to 80, give or take 65 to 80, 15 points there. And then get ourselves at least to break even on that. There we go. We're pushing up through VWAP. That should help us. Hopefully it gives us more of a pressure to get through the overnight low and then pop. That would be my ideal situation here. Some of these shorts are going to get squeezed, hopefully. That would be the ideal. Delta, not super aggressive, but maybe if we pop the overnight low, we'll get an aggressive Delta push. 59% long on the tilt. Gotta take the idea through my levels. Still thinking, still waiting. Probably will get triggered right here. See if we get the squeeze through it and manage our risk accordingly. Should go immediately. If not, it's not going to go. Failed. All right. Failure of that level. Took that first loser there. Maybe the next time through it, we'll get a better opportunity. Maybe the breakdown to 19,000, you get another flush. Don't be afraid to go flip the other direction on it. Not opposed to it. Kind of felt that wick was coming. Should have waited for this secondary touch. Then played the break on it. I will take the next shot through it, see what I get out of it. Glad I just limited my risk to my normal 200 on that because it's potentially going to roll. If this does crack through this low, then we're going to be rotating. An aggressive seller still around. I want to get back to VWAP. Willing to attack my level a couple times. Not really too concerned about it. If it stopped me out once, the levels, everything's kind of still holding up in the idea here. Is there any news at 9:30? Nothing that I see. Natural gas, nothing important. So if it flushes through this 27, then down to 19,000 probably comes into play. I want to see if this Delta breaks on a breakdown. That's a nice Delta pop there. Good little aggressive buyer stepping up at 40. Willing to take this second shot through the level. Well, I guess if we get through it, we should be fine right here. S&P is accepting back to the previous day low, so we are well extended away. I think we could get this next push through, potentially be a nice clean move up through that level. NVIDIA still pushing upside. I think we do have the ability to possibly get that thing to get through our level one more time and manage our risk appropriately here to be able to get, like I said, get through that white line. If I can go yellow, simplify it yellow to white, then I can get through potentially, to break even and then up into the VWAP. But if NQ is leading us downside, then still there's more to go. patiently waiting for this to trigger me in. One more shot at it here on this account. Be very tight on it if it doesn't. If we get to the white line, I'm going to even. There we go. I'm going to be at even there. Let's see if we can get through the white. If we can get through the white, I'm going to go stop to the white. Letting it dance around a bit. So that's the squeeze that I wanted to see through there. I'm going to secure at least that down to 70. I want to get through the white line there. There we go. We got through that white. See if we can squeeze up a little bit more now. Get up to VWAP. That's what I wanted to see the first time through. Didn't quite get that on the first time through. If we get stopped out here, good. We're still back red to green on that. Not necessarily red to green in the fact that I want to lock out, but red to green in the fact that I at least secured myself back to buying myself one more trade. I wasn't red to a point where I didn't want to I made the wrong decision. I got to go back, but we wanted to secure at least yellow line to white line there and then see if this is going to now fail breakout, right? And if you get down through these levels, potentially could short this level down and get to 19,000 pretty comfortably, which I may consider doing if we hold. Good job, Carlos. I'm glad you got a little bit of secured profits there. S&P is still creeping up higher. I'm going to check the follower account, make sure it's green as well. So now we have both accounts up over that $2,000 amount of profits. So another a nice little milestone, right? We've built this buffer now exactly how we want it to. Now this white line is giving up. I don't see that this is very aggressive though, right? What I want to see is aggressiveness in my timing. I might want to see another flush of that low, even though it might not come in. Still holding this trend line up. Very, very good. Jovi, you traded the overnight, I'm guessing. It's not overnight, right? It's daytime for you. It's overnight for me. I like the failure of this. We're going to play this fail breakdown. I don't think this is aggressive enough buying. I don't think the delta is aggressive enough. I think if we rotate through this low, overnight low again, if this fails again, you probably get a nice heavy flush. And we're going to go with the trend there. We'll learn our lesson a little bit, see if we can get through this wicky candle that we came down, touched, and rotated out. If it gets up here and bounces and goes, then we're all right. But NVIDIA's at a resistance level, broke down from pre-market lows, kind of selling from it from there. We're cracking through this trend line. If it confirms through that trend line, should break through this candle low, then break through our overnight low, then ignite some selling, maybe down into 19,000. That would be my thought process on this moving forward. We'll see what happens with it. If it doesn't come back and triggers in, I'm cool with making my little base hit on a day like today, keeping the green streak alive, then going over to the 100K account and doing the same deal. Take another base hit in the 100K. Probably take a bigger hit in the 100K. But I'm going to manage these accounts good right here. Let's see what happens with this. If S&P gives this up, then maybe we help this downside. 58% long. Delta is just kind of creeping up. I feel like there's a heavy delta waiting to be popped to the downside. I love getting short. I'm a lot better at trailing out and securing a lot more of my profit on the short side. So let's see if I can get triggered in on this heaviness if it comes in right now. I don't see anybody on the book. Let's see if there's anybody on the book below or above. I'm triggered in. See if it goes fast or not. I want to get to even pretty quickly. Here's $100. I'm up. Now it's a break-even trade. Now I'm doing whatever, letting it go. Here, break even. I want to see if I can get this thing down to 19,000. If it pops right here, okay, we out. We got stopped out at even, but we're up 106 across two accounts. So another $100, another $100 day so far. 200 across 2 accounts. Get me up over that 80 again, retest that white line, and then see if this flush comes in. Quick 40 points from 40 down to 19,000 isn't bad. You see how heavy that is. Is that a failed breakdown now of the hour level to rotate us back the other way? That's a good trigger for the long too, right? So we're in like that. We're playing with a level that's very, very tricky right now. It's a big decision point. This is a very important level for where the market goes the rest of the day. Will it hold and continue to go upside? We do only have to VWAP right here. It's not a very far way to go for VWAP to kind of get run into, and then it's a decision get made there. But if we do fail this 80 level again, then potentially the rotation comes back down to the downside through the overnight low and beyond to the 19,000 or even lower the day. If this is our good A+ setup, which it looked great right there, then that rotation to VWAP isn't out of the realm of possibility either, right? So all those things kind of lining up. $50. Look at you. Look at you. Good job there, Carlos. There was very aggressive sellers here. And then a really aggressive buyer just ahead of 40. I think if we run through it again, then we'd probably sell off. So I will short it one more time, give it a chance around the level. Because if it gives it up again, maybe that aggressive seller just steps up and pushes us down. Aggressive seller, aggressive buyer kind of engulfing here. So potentially this should not get canceled out, right? This green bar should not get retaken. Could you short the 80 level? Possibly. S&P's is over VWAP. So we're looking to see if this is going to run up to VWAP. If it cracks high, then it's probably going to go. Like our idea was great here. Took that win. Could have took it again here. Didn't quite trust the long side after that. Really strong push down, but that was definitely manipulative. Let's see if this is going to be a trappy candle to the high side to rotate us back down, because that is an area of interest there, that 19,100. If you were long from 19,000, you're up 100 points already. Very good opportunities in this market. I'm only catching $100 here, $100 there, 200 here, 200. I mean, my trades are 200, right? So I'm up 100. So, I mean, realistically, down to up 280, up to 40. That's what we're looking at. But, there's big moves in this market to be made. We don't need to catch all of it. You just need to catch little pieces of it, multiply it times a couple of counts, and then you'll be just fine. I think we could catch this down to 19,000 if it gives up. But it could just continue to hold now and now rotate all the way out. I will watch my levels again on the high side. If we get up on to this area here, we're going to see what kind of action we get. Do we get into the opening range, fail the opening range, come back down through the previous day low? These are now we are able to access our levels. We're able to execute towards plans and really make good decisions. Really, this looks like a break of a trend line, retest of the trend line higher, and now trying to rotate back down. So the short through our overnight low, is still a continuation play on the sell side pressure. So if people think that the selling is done, potentially it's not. And I'm going to look to see if I can get short through our overnight low if it comes back to it, because I think that could be a possibility. And then now, hell yeah, Scrooge, good stuff. Don't do dumb shit. If you're out here, check out the Don't Do Dumb Shit collection now over here on daytradingcoffeeco.com. It's in the swag shop, the top line. You got the inspirational bull holding the Don't Do Dumb Shit mug, and you got the clean Don't Do Dumb Shit t-shirt. So if you need to be reminded not to do dumb shit while you're trading, check those shirts out. They're there for the taking. We created the mantra here, and now we've executed on creating the swag for it. I did no dumb shit today, and I'm up green $100 across 2 accounts. Haven't traded the 100K yet. I may flip over to it later. Hell yeah. Everybody should reward themselves for reaching milestones, doing cool stuff, and just doing every little thing that they can to take the step in the right direction every single day, making those new good decisions every single day. You know, like I said, I'm cool with taking my base hits on days that I'm not getting my A plus, you know, really good setups pretty quick in the session. It's 9:39 a.m. here, Central Time. You know, we got another 20 minutes or so till the hourly close. Still presenting potentially a short here. Still holding below VWAP. S&P is not, I mean, it's holding its VWAP, but it's considering that previous day low right here. I think maybe if it gets below it, then we're going to watch and see what happens on this next touch of the level. So I'm going to take my new coffee delivery here and enjoy it. Cheers. I started the morning out with the Prop Shop Ethiopia. It's a medium roast. Really, really nice, really smooth. The wife just made me a Scalper's Delight dark roast. We do pour overs here to really get the flavor pulled out of these coffees. So if we fail this 80, I think this overnight low goes pretty hard. And then if we need to flush this low of 41, and that's going to get us down to 19,000. I don't know where that other. I can put it right here on I Love You. It's probably on the floor somewhere, to be honest. I lost one of my coasters. It's gone. It's gone forever. So many drawers, so many desks, so many little things. You know what? I'm not putting it on that. Put it on this piece of paper. Piece of paper just fine for a coaster. Alrighty, let's get this melt to come back in. My wife says I need to sit up straight. Okay? Sorry for slouching on you guys. I have a heating pad on my leg. Keeping the back straight. Get myself in better posture for you. Maybe the posture will help the market decide to make a decision. I like the V-bottom in NVIDIA. Doesn't mean that it's not going to continue downside. Still red on the day. But it has accepted back into the pre-market range. So NVIDIA doing that. We have our stop market there just in case the market decides to take a dump. It's going to melt off and we're going to get triggered in. Once again, like the aggressive buyers and sellers they're just kind of, you can see they're here, but they're not super aggressive. You got a super aggressive buyer here that failed right into the lower band of VWAP. Once, twice, this touch of VWAP here. That 41 level, I did mention that was probably a good area for the buying to start to come in, but also don't do dumb shit. Don't go buying stuff away from your levels if you don't have a reason to buy it there. Let things set up. Let the play come to you. That 19,000 kind of screamed to you, buy through it. I didn't buy there. I bought through here the first time, failed. Bought through here the second time. And we made ourselves green. We shorted here. Got a little bit more, and now we're looking to see if this is going to hold this 80 level below VWAP, or if it's going to, maybe it'll get up into VWAP, wick it, and then start to rotate down. I do like the way this wedge is forming here. I'm going to get rid of these lines that don't matter. I don't want to clutter this up. I kind of like the way this is forming here, where it's holding that support, holding that support, holding that support. If that support gives up, then you may get a hard flush of that level. Until then, I think you continue to hold, push. Like I said, that accumulation all the way down. I got my hotkeys back working, so we go back here. You can take a look at that chart. Make sure it's on there. Yeah, you can see this accumulation down through all these key levels. That 30-minute candle swept. I mean, we were very, very heavy, pushed into it, swept all these levels, and now is rotating right back up. This blue line here is the bottom end of a channel that I drew up of, the short-term downtrend that we've been in since CPI that 2 Wednesdays ago, right? So pushed down through it, tried to break back above it again today, and then failed it today early, and now we're trying to come back and pretty much cancel out this entire move here, which would be nice. I don't hate that. I'm going to cancel this order now because I don't like the way that looks. We are now back up above VWAP. Really nice target. I mean, from that 19,000, you can see a little slight head and shoulders type deal if you play those patterns. Once you saw that 19,000 hold, except above that 19,000, rotating back up into this area, the long through the overnight low. I should have took it this time too, this third time. I took the short through the level, caught as much of that as possible. Once I got stopped out on that, seeing that strong bullish push up here does give you the indication that the longs want to step back in, accept us back in the overnight low, using the S&Ps to our advantage, being a little bit standoffish on the heaviness in the market kind of helped, stop that thought from, entering my thoughts here of just trying to go long, flipping. It was telling me that. So we'll see. I want to see if previous day low gets accepted, opening range, all these things now. A push into the overnight high would be a really nice area for me to start looking for short ideas again. Overnight highs, even previous day lows, right? This happened here. Will it happen there again? Will we get and manipulate over that 1 minute opening range and then fail and come back down through the previous day low? Or will we just continue on upside, right? Is this going to be a strong hold? Is this the area here? Or is this the area here? I think this is more likely the spot we're looking at. You need the shirt and the mug, kid. That's it. Yeah, if you have the shirt on, maybe you can't see it while you're trading, but then you pick up your mug here and you're like, oh man, don't do dumb shit. All right, I'm good. I mean, realistically though, if your play is the trend line crack, then is it dumb shit? Not really necessarily. It's just a matter of timing it. What was the plan? Go back, review it. So, in the don't do dumb shit world, it's more so, did you violate your plan? Did you do things that maybe could be corrected moving forward? So it's don't do dumb shit again and again and again. You're going to do dumb shit. It's going to happen. You got to try and limit it and do your best to get to a point where one trade at a time, you make the adjustment the next trade. You make the adjustment the next trade. You make the adjustment the next trade, right? Everything plays together where you're making the adjustments from the dumb shit and then eventually avoid completely doing the dumb shit. If we crack the previous day low, are we going long? I'm going to see what happens with price action as we approach it. If we crack the previous day low and then hold the opening range and then come back and rotate through, it could be good timing for a short. We are still in a good downtrend. We haven't made new higher highs. I think if you get up into this purple box here, start to rotate back down to previous day low, now you have the trend line here that could be a confirmed break. Maybe you wait for a confirmation to break you. Maybe even price will hold up here a little longer so VWAP can catch up so that when you can take this short, you're now below VWAP, you're now below a previous day level, right? It's going to be wait and see what happens at that level. Just because we get to a level doesn't mean we do this and we do this, right? Yeah. If you want to understand my process, I have all these levels out there, right, that I use. Previous day high, previous day low, overnight high, overnight low. Then some other little key zones that I use. And obviously VWAP, right? So just because price gets to my levels at points doesn't mean I do anything at that level, right? We got to our overnight low here. I didn't execute. Normally, I want to wait for that breakdown, failure, rotate back up, sort of like what we got right here, except this, I just didn't catch it. I caught the short because I thought maybe we're going to fail based on the pattern setting up. So, I caught $50 out of that, $40 out of that and broke even. But realistically, I execute at levels. It just gets me interested and knowing that I can do something that I can justify at that spot, right? If I get to the level, that's one check mark on my setup. If, I get good divergence on Delta, that's another check mark. If I see that we're in a downtrend and we popped higher and now we're going to look to go lower, that's another check mark. There's lots of things that you can do around these levels, and then just trying to understand the dynamics, also with the S&Ps, right? Where is the S&P in relation to where the NQ is? Is it the right time for it, right? Currently, we're still well below. Previously, though, we broke down and we were leading to the downside, and then the S&P caught up. Now, as S&P flipped to being the leader, it seems to have. It's dragged us up higher from these lows. It accepted above this previous day low, overnight low, previous day low, well before we did that in the NQ. So you kind of got to watch the dynamic between the two indexes. You got to watch the dynamic. NVIDIA now looking to break high of day. Is that going to help squeeze us up? Or is this going to just run us into resistance, wick off high, trap some longs, and then continue us down to the downside, right? So you got to just kind of understand your broad spectrum, broad view of the entire market, what it's doing and what it's trying to do. What are these big players trying to do in order to get filled and do whatever they're trying to do, right? So if we kind of talk through this entire thing, we had heaviness coming in. The overnight low clearly broke without much issue. We started to creep into 19,000. We ran into some, support above. A large size player had a resting order of 100 plus 175, 200 contracts sitting right here at 19,000. What that did is it drove price to 19,000, and then probably more sellers on the other end of that same kind of player, they trapped they drew in a buy, right? So people sold down into it, and then they sold it deeper, right? They sold it further down so they could accept some more of these orders down below. And now it seems like what they did was they swept all the orders from that previous all-time high level in the previous contract. They kind of cleaned up a lot of that, and now we're rotating. We're on the other end of it. You can see we're on the other side of the V now that we cleared back above 19,000. They manipulate the price to get it to where they want to go so they can grab a bunch more orders, and then they push it the other way. And then if we see that large size kind of appear on the other end, so if I see it somewhere in here, which I don't see very much size. The biggest size I see right now is 5, 6, maybe a 20, maybe not even a 20, a 14 at 173. There's not a ton of size on the books now, right? So they've cleaned up their large size. They did their manipulating. They did their pull price to a direction so they can grab more price so they can now make billions of dollars on the long side, right? This is a big game that they're playing, and they're using us small fish to take orders so they can do it, right? Yeah, volume is always going to die down. It's interesting though that you can see usually the highest point of volume is that first opening range for the most part in the day, and then it rotates down. You can see we didn't have high volume. I mean, we had decent volume, but we diminished pretty quickly, and then into that low, it's at 19,000, right? That was that manipulation into 19,000. You capitulate through, and then you continue to rotate down. That's the highest volume point of the day. So now you rotate back to that 19,000 level, another high volume candle, and now everything afterwards has died down. So if you start to see something where there's a ton of volume peak up, right? If you peak up a ton of volume over the overnight high, maybe that's somebody bigger trying to kind of rotate it back the other direction one more time to get it back to VWAP so they can accept and now run it back up higher or make new lows, right? So you got to kind of understand the volume dynamics as well. S&Ps is over the opening range. My long call from the overnight low is still very valid. I actually talked about it at 19,000, the long from 19,000. It's up to you so Scrooge, I like to say, I'm not a signal service. I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do, when to do it, all that stuff. I want to give you the opportunity to understand levels. I want to give you the opportunity to understand where everything is. If it's clear, is it a key level better if it goes to the clear overnight high? I like to wait for overnight highs and lows. Those are the more extended levels. Obviously, you can see the more extended they are, the more likely they are to return back to VWAP, and that's kind of what I want to see. NVIDIA is on a moon mission straight up right now. Once NVIDIA catch a bid, it likes to go straight up. If an NVIDIA catches a bid and doesn't pull back at all, then the NQ is going to follow up through. It's going to continue to go. I don't trust the opening range break on the first break. Maybe come back, retest opening range somewhere in that 19,225 support to the overnight high. That could be a play. This is all kind of up to you to decide what you see within these markets. I'm providing you the levels. I'm providing you what I see with the sweep of the liquidity. This could be the end of the selling completely. Like I said, we have geopolitical uncertainty, which should kind of keep us trapped in a range, or the selling makes sense for it because people are flowing out of the risky assets, thinking that maybe they need to start to hoard their money or keep it safe somewhere. So, with that geopolitical risk comes selling in stock markets, in risky assets, things that aren't quite, as stable. They're going to probably fly into gold. They're going to fly into silver. Some of these metals and just safe haven currencies. Usually the U.S. dollar is a safe haven, but I would imagine that the JPY is probably going to be the more safe currency currently based on the geopolitical risk being U.S. based. And the thoughts of, if Trump wins, he wants a weaker dollar, which is good for the economy, making it cheaper to buy things. It's all relative, right? So here we are, failed breakout above previous day lows. I like this. Maybe one more break above, and then potentially take a flush of the previous day low for a short. You accumulate at this opening range high. I want to see what's going on. If I could trap a bunch of longs, that'd be great. We're not making like great highs. You got a wick off here. I want to see if Delta will pop a little bit if we get back into that opening range. If we start to accept below this previous day low, right? I said I want to kind of accumulate here. You can maybe take a quick flush of that previous day low. Lack of acceptance of it. That's something what I would like to see, considering it, especially because the NVIDIA move got to pre-market highs and it sold immediately from there. It's not a very convincing sell, but it's starting to roll over. 114.57. Once again, lower volume, as Scrooge McBucks mentioned. If I can get this to give you a volume wick above, kind of trap some longs, then maybe that's the area where the shorts decide to come in. However, that trend line held as support, previous day held as support. Maybe we're going to continue accepting up over. We're right into that bottom end of the channel that we've been making for the downtrend. So we do still have a lot of room to the upside if this channel, doesn't hold, or if it does hold, I should say. If this was just like a manipulation through the bottom of the channel, I'd say once we get up above 19,244, let's call it the overnight high. We're going to start to possibly get a squeeze up. Then the next legs up could lead you into that 19,398, 19,400, and then up into previous day highs. What's more likely of a trade? That's kind of what you got to think at every moment. What's more likely to occur? It is, 3 minutes to an hourly close. You might see some manipulated action here until that hourly close comes in. Let that hour settle down, give you a little bit more of an indication of what the market sees for that hour. A lot of those people closing, they readjust positions around the hours, longer term players, hour, 4 hourly, daily, those are something that they're adjusting around. So I like, especially 10 o'clock, it's getting into close to Euro close. There's a lot of reasoning behind, positioning between 10 and 10:30. So there is, movement in those times. So there is a possibility that this might have just bought them some time to then again sell off. This could be profit taking. This could be any reason. To me, it looks like a manipulation into the 19,000 area to gather as much orders as possible based on the size that we saw down there. Not necessarily any other reason other than that we saw bigger size flow into that at 19,000. And then as you move to the downside, you started to see more and more, aggressiveness coming in. And then right now we're seeing bigger size at 191. So 191, 195, 200, we just filled about 30, 60, 90, a little bit over 100 orders, maybe 150 right there. A lot of times you're going to see in this time in sales, the time in sales is going to show you 10s, 11s, 12s, 1s. That's usually one bigger contract getting, one bigger player getting filled in pieces, right? Especially because it happens at once. Unless it's a bunch of bigger players, right? You're trading 10 plus contracts. I have my filter set at 10. There are obviously smaller sizes in there that are mixed in. They're not going to be all even numbers. So anything over 10 is a good amount of orders getting filled. And I don't want to see, as you go down, you'll see much more on this time in sales. You could have it down to 7, 8, 1. To 1, you'll see every single execution at 1, right? I don't want to see that. To me, I want to see when the big player comes in, when the bigger size pops. I want to see that. And you can see it coming in now, right? You can see 215, big size. 215 again, bigger size. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 40. Probably a 50 lot getting filled right there at that size. It's 10 o'clock, right? 10 o'clock, you saw bigger size getting filled. Now where do we go from here? Do we crack this previous day low? If we get up into that overnight high, 54.90, and we don't get there in the NQs, watch for the rejection. We might not even get there right now because there is some structure right here from that overnight high that if it gives up and starts to rotate back down, then we can rotate through previous day lows and continue back downside. Maybe the S&Ps retest the opening range and we get a little bit of an opportunity shorten through the previous day low, right? You got a nice little wedge pattern here. I will give it one. I didn't mean to do that. Flatten. I made $60 or whatever on that, or maybe not even. I lost a couple dollars on that. I didn't mean to do market order there. It was fine. I lost $2. I got even. Good. So that's another thing that you need to do if you can. Stop sell 1. If you get into a position that you didn't mean to get into, get out immediately. Win, lose, draw, whatever it is, get out. That's just building good habits. You do not want to do something like that where you somehow, my leader account lost more than my follower. Fine, cool. Sometimes that happens. It was a $0 trade. Break even on that account, and on this account, it made $35. That's cool. Sometimes that happens, right? Like I said, if you do stupid things, expect to win stupid prizes. Don't do dumb shit. And that's part of my don't do dumb shit mentality there. So we're cracking. Let's see if we crack through this previous day low. I want to get through it with a nice forceful push, and then I'll get to even, right? Would I have been fine if I would have executed and left my order? Yes, but I'm not in that game. I don't want to do that. It's a seller's market. I want to see if the sales come in quickly, aggressively through previous day levels. Previous day low. I want to get through this low quickly. If it doesn't go quick, then I'm going to get out. There we're up 100. I'm going to risk to break even if it can get me through. There we go. I'm at even. It's a free trade now. There we go. A nice little flush of that previous day low. I want to see if I can rotate the VWAP. I'm stopped out for $60. Close to $200. We're up 160 on this account. We're up 190 on this account. Taking my base hits. Take your base hits. They add up. Take your base hits. Take your base hits. Take your base hits. I want to see this pop back up into that 200 area. And then if it comes back down again to fail, then I'll take it. If it's going to just dance around here. Like I said, I'm all for, I want it to happen very fast. I want my moves to happen quick. I want to mitigate my risk. And I'm going to take my base hits until my home run comes. And then I'm going to just trail out my home run as it comes. The more I could just limit my risk, I know that my strategy comes with some of these big explosive breakdowns and big explosive moves. So if we could get this didn't happen yet. It's close. Hell yeah. I love it, Scrooge. Get back there. If you were down and you got back to even from the combine with the losses and everything, and now you're green on the day, you're up. It's a very kind of, although a lot of these moves are clean, it's a very confusing kind of day, right? Where, we got a very heavy selling and then now a clean buy side pressure that seems kind of healthy for buyers to kind of maybe step in. If we can get a retest of 200, fail this previous day low again, I'm interested to try it one more time for myself, for my ideas, for my trading plan. But if you have already executed to a point where you think you're good for the day, don't be afraid to hit that lockout button. It's not a bad thing to hit the lockout button, get yourself locked in with your profits for the day, and then just move on for the rest of the week. Get into it. I want to get it up higher. I don't want it to just give up right here because I think I get trapped into this short. Actually, you know what? I do like it. I like it. Didn't get triggered because I didn't put it in. Well done, Scrooge. Good job locking out. That's what you get. Love it. I like this short right here, and I didn't take it. It's all good. I would have been risk-free, and it would have been just now see how far down it can go. Still very manipulative. I did want to get up a little higher. I wanted to get through 80s, up into 200, retest that opening range again, get S&Ps maybe up into 5490s. So maybe I am right on holding off. But that's fine with me. Like I said, I'm cool with just waiting, being patient. We didn't trade yesterday. We were very patient. We did not execute, which means we did not make money. We did not lose money. We have now continued to step in the right direction. So that's very good. I love it, Scrooge. I love it. That's what you want to do. So people want to be like the home run hitter, right? Everybody wants to be Barry Bonds out here just crushing home runs every single at bat. There's no missing, right? That's not this game. That's not this game at all. And there are people in this game that can do that, and they have large account sizes. They have lots of experience, and they've done this for a period of time to kind of prove to themselves that they can take some of these bigger swings up and down, right? We don't have that luxury, a lot of us, to take these big swings up and down. If you're content with the base hits on the upside, you can be content with the small losers, and you can build your account over time. And then as you get bigger, you can scale up, and then make your money, right? Don't fall into the trap of I have to pass a combine, or I have to make exactly half of my profits today, or I got to get past in 2 days. I need to get past in 1 week, whatever. Don't fall into those traps, because those traps are what get you into bad habits, right? You need to get into the habit of continuously over time, execute. Made good profits on the overnight American. He's chilling today. No greed, baby. No greed. That's exactly right. No greed. I still feel like this is heavy. But we are on a structure point for our previous day low, and then 154.50, like I said, was that previous breakout point. So it's kind of grabbing that liquidity, maybe looking to push up again. So just, if it's going to fail a previous day level, it usually does it pretty heavily and quickly. So it seems like it's not ready to go yet. It's, it could push up again one more time. It could even push up and never come back, right? So that's what I'm thinking. But I'm glad, American, you made your money and you're just chilling. Don't do dumb shit. Like our motto says, don't do dumb shit. We just talked about it yesterday, talked about it the day before. We needed to make a shirt, need to make a mug. So I did it. If you head over to the link in the chat, it's pinned to the top. We got the Don't Do Dumb Shit main tee. We got the Don't Do Dumb Shit mug, and then we got the inspirational bowl with the subtle Don't Do Dumb Shit on his mug. So if you feel so inclined, get over there, get yourself some profits, some mugs. Scrooge McBugs was super hot face after those first two losses, but I kept my wits and kept trading to get out of the hole. The good thing is that you noticed that you got into that heat, right? That tilt came in. That's what tilt is that I'm getting hot behind the ears. My face is hot. I'm sweating. My hands are hot, sweating. I can't hold the mouse. Like, all these things are things that could lead to you making dumb choices, doing dumb shit, right? If you need to get back, if you feel like, all right, I took 2 losses, I'm not really like at a point where I'm not able to do what I want to do, then take a walk. Go walk away for a few minutes. Get yourself back to later, Jovi. Appreciate you. I like this short now. If it comes back down and cancels out this previous day low, I think now would be better timing than these. I do like that. I wanted to get through the body of this big green candle here to try and get a flush, and that would probably be my last shot at it here today, unless we get up to overnight highs. That's my thought on this. Just a quick to VWAP, at least. And then if it gets to VWAP, I'm going to trail really tight, really fast, and then see if it can get through and get lower. Jofi, always a pleasure, buddy. If you need a mug, click the link. It's in there. It's ready to go. I gotta love just every day coming out here, executing to our plan, right? Sticking to it allowing price to get to our levels, set it up. See you tomorrow, my buddy. As always, 8:30 a.m. we'll be here. Every single day that I could possibly be on the stream, I will. So just come on by. I'll be here. I want them to incorporate hotkeys in here so I can be quick with my stops. However, I'm just going to have to be a quick clicker because I feel like if it's going to go fast. I want to be able to get to even quick, and then I want it to come back. As soon as it gets through me, I want to get to even, mitigate my risk on this trade if it does happen. We are holding below that opening range level and now trying to hold 80s. 80s tend to be that decision point in the NASDAQ as well. The more you trade it, the more you realize that 80s, 20s, it's like a comfortable distance away from the whole round number where actions start to happen. If this seller gives up, or if this buyer gives up, I should say, then we should start to roll. I don't see big size here. We're good. Up overhead, nothing. Flashing some size below. We're probably going to get triggered right now, I think. If it comes down to us, lower high, S&Ps, NVIDIA looking to try and reclaim into the lower range of pre-market, but is catching a little bit of a bounce here. I'm just letting it sit here in case it does, like I said, give you that hard, fast flush, something like this 3-candle flush here. Give me something like that right down to VWAP. Still keeps the uptrend healthy for the short-term short-term downtrend, short-term uptrend in this downtrend. So like I said, I want to short pops is kind of my thought on the downtrend. But the way that price acted down there at the lows is sort of indicative of a V-bottom type idea. But if we're going to stay range bound and not really expand too much, we do still have room into staying in previous days range. So it kind of does add up to continue to go a little higher as well. So maybe we wait for that 54.90.75 to come in on the S&Ps before we start looking to get any sort of sell side again on this. I want to see what happens here at 200. If that holds and rotates back down, then I want to see if this will go. If it's going to squeeze through, then we're still good on the long side. Anybody who is long through that overnight low with me, you could have held and been safe. I shorted it. So I was long twice, shorted it once, and then now I'm pretty much flat. I took a quick little base hit on this. Didn't fail enough. So obviously you can see it continued to rotate higher. S&P is now clearing through that overnight high. I like that. Cancel that order. I'm going to go flat and all. I'm not going to be involved in this. That was kind of trappy, looking like it wants to get up over this opening range, which is good. Now we went red to green on the day with the index. So now we'll see if it's going to continue on up to overnight highs and beyond, or if we're going to fail the overnight high, rotate range bound back down. Although, like I said, I think the way that price action looked at the bottom, the long from the bottom looks very, very attractive for this, long through 19,000. If you waited for this manipulation and then waited for that retest back to 19, and if you were long through 19, if you're a bigger, longer term, like enter and risk to low of the day kind of guy or girl, then that's a good area for you to have had an idea of even if you got below, you didn't even have to risk all the way to low of day. The swing low here kind of kept you safe on this 19,000. If you have the mental capacity to hold longer term, this is the kind of move that gives you those bigger, longer moves, bigger, longer types of price action. My student loan freaking come and go and come and go. I don't understand what they're doing. August. So now they pushed it back another month. I guess they're trying to do all the getting rid of it, whatever, student loan cancellation stuff. All right, I gotta use the restroom. I'll be right back. Kids are playing nice. Happy to see. They got a friend over. It's a good day to have a good day. As I wait for this overnight high to come into play here, I'm going to get rid of this. I think that does play a role in today, but I'm not going to keep it out there for no reason. I would like to see maybe some size on the books up here around the overnight high. Upper band of view up is pretty close, 321. Flashing size close, 20 lots, pulling it, 20 lots, pulling it, 30 contracts, pulling it. Now it's there sitting at 62. 30 contracts sitting at 62, so, maybe we'll start to drag back up. I would love to see this overnight high come into play. And then on, that can go into the 308s, 300, 303, 308s. Could that be the point to sell? Failed breakout type idea. That's my thoughts on it. Unfortunately, we haven't got close to it yet. And in the S&Ps is well over it at the moment. I'm going to kind of look for levels from yesterday that will play a role in this as well. 5508, probably this area right here, 5510, 5509. That area right there, 08. We'll see if that comes into play as we approach the overnight high. Things that we need to look at in order to keep ourselves alive, not do dumb shit. Don't do dumb shit. Grab a mug. Remind yourself every day. It's funny because my leader account had more in it than the follower, and now the follower has taken over as the higher profit just because of it's always a little bit different when it comes to copy trading. There's going to be some slight differences in the trades. So don't just trust it blindly. Make sure you continue to check it. Make sure if you are copy trading that something that you're doing is continuously checking what you're looking at. Each trade. Maybe if you have a position on, keep that position board open. Check your accounts. Make sure that they're in line. We only have the two accounts trading right now. I did not execute on the 100K yet today, which I may do on this overnight high. But so if you look at it a little bit longer term, here on this 30-minute, I switched over to that chart there. You can see that we finally cracked above that level. This was a sweep down into those levels below, right? You can see that 30-minute. We kind of gave you that capitulatory push to the bottom. Now we're rotating back up over these levels. That 304, there's that overnight high. That area right there is going to be a decision point. Probably get you some reaction. We could get a rotation off of it for just a quick pullback before this continues back up to that 19,398, 400 level. Potentially beyond, but you see it on NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA trying to make a new high of the day, looking to crack it. And we have yesterday's swing high at the end of the day, towards the end of the day right here, right kind of where we're at. So this is what we're looking at. We want to see this overnight high kind of trap some people, give you a volume spike, get you that delta divergence, maybe get a little wedge pattern down at the lows. Not down at the lows, up at the highs, like something that we see like right here, but then you fail that break and rotate back down. That's kind of what I like to see in that setup. right here at 19,280, you can see another reaction there. 280, we had a reaction. 180, we had a reaction. Clear moves right there. With that failed breakdown, you could kind of look at that long. So any of you who were kind of talking about maybe potentially looking for that long, you can pop through that long there, through that previous day low, and you see that setup kind of break, retest, rotate up. When it comes to these levels, if you're fighting the trend sort of, like right now, this is sort of fighting the downtrend, maybe wait for that break retest to rotate up. If you're going with the trend, it seems like the cracks to the downside are smoother, right? Crack to the downside is smoother. Did get a break retest here, but my overnight lows are really the key levels, right? Crack rate straight down through it. Yesterday, same deal, going with the trend. If you're a breakout person, I'm a failed breakout type trade, so I want to see that kind of pop, fail, and go. We never made it to the overnight high, so I did not have an entry on it. If we now rotate down through previous day lows, my risk to reward here is not as good because the VWAP is going to be acting as support right there. So I probably won't be taking the entry right off the jump on that, even though I said, that continuation in the direction is more likely than the pop break in the counter trend type deal. Is it going to support at the opening range high and rotate up? We will see. Is that the break retest? Break retest of the opening range high, come back up right down to 220. Volume didn't really tick up there very much. Delta did get aggressive, kind of confirmed the selling. You saw that price coming in. There is a size, it's not that big, 30-something lots. Contracts at 200. See if that grows. $40 contracts at that 30 at that 200 level. Price isn't going very much away from it. Looks like it wants to get magnetized to 200. See if it gets and holds 200. There is a way to kind of play that break above the opening range high as well. So if it supports down here at the opening range low and you kind of crack through the opening range high, is this going to be a break, retest, continue on? You are at the overnight high on the S&Ps. So is this going to be that? Are we going to get rotational? That's what you need to think about with how price is acting around here, right? You got a false breakdown. You trapped some longs now. Are we going to go back to the downside? Or is this going to be still continuing straight up, healthy, kind of stair step all the way and continue on all day? So potentially that could be along through these highs and then never looking back at this pre-market or this opening range low. But you have to trust that it's going to break and hold. Don't just go triggering in if that's what you're looking to do, because you can get whipped in, whipped out, and then it runs your way. So maybe look for a close above that 225 and then go, if that's what you're looking for. And personally, obviously, I'm not doing it. You don't see me executing, so that's not the trade idea. But I've found that to be something that does occur frequently, where the opening range will come back, get retested, not quite breach the low or breach the low a little bit, and then just kind of rally on through. So maybe wait for the breach of the low for confirmation. And then if we see this come all the way down to previous day low, give you a bounce into 200, then start to approach back down again, maybe that time where we do something like this and kind of try and come into here and then look to break through here, that's the point right there that maybe you look to get this to flush and continue to the downside, because VWAP will likely, with the way that's going on, kind of pull up into there right as you get there. So it would be a break of VWAP, a break of a key level. You retested the low, like that whole move kind of happened. So maybe that's something that you're going to get out of this. VWAP might stay a little lower because of an aggressive sell like this. But just, be mindful of that kind of action. That's something that could happen right there. That thought process of it. But now that you've swept it, if it does not get all the way down to this previous day low, could you now rotate all the way to overnight highs? That's the question. There we go. So I just kind of talk through how I think through things as they're approaching, as they appear on the charts. Clearly, we have made good decisions so far today. We are up 160 on this account, 191 on the other account. So, we have now completely breached the $2,000 buffer on these 50K accounts. So we have created the buffer. So now everything after today potentially is what I'm going to start looking to do as withdrawals, right? So I'm going to start to grow beyond the $2,000 mark, and I'll start to take payouts and leaving that 2K in there. And then eventually, as I take the payouts, start to grow the buffer as well as take the payouts, periodically. And across multiple accounts, that'll add up pretty quickly. So can't be mad about taking $100 days, $200 days, $400 days. Those are the days that add up. And then you do eventually, take a step back and you're like, oh, wow, my account's way higher than I thought it was going to be. If you're on YouTube, hit the like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell if you want to note when we do go live every morning, 8:30 Central Time. The likes help the algorithm. The conversation helps it. It's cool. I like to just get as many people in here and help out as best as possible, grow the community that we got here. Like I said, I'm not selling anything but coffee. I'm just trying to provide good value for your trading, be it through showing my levels, understanding market psychology, providing you caffeination, whatever it takes to get you to take that next step in your trading journey, right? I've been documenting, for the most part, most of my journey throughout the years here on YouTube, on and off, as I saw that I was able to. And then on tradecaster.com, Deck has been so gracious to allow me to trade over there. As we grow that community as well, it kind of just builds that base of, a consistent routine where you have somebody at worst, we're just conversating about life and trying to plan out our trades for the day and getting good opportunities and making shirts and doing fun stuff. And eventually you're going to realize that part of the journey was some of the best parts, right? Because you're going to go up, you're going to go down, you're going to have good times and bad times. And if you can limit the bad times, going through it with a good group of people here is going to help you out a whole lot. And just kind of keeping trading realistic, right? I don't want you to get these dreams of grandeur too early in your career. And like I said, I've been trading since 2017, and I'm still in that growing phase of, until you take it truly 100% seriously and you dedicate time to it and you do all these things, then you're not going to be able to be successful on a consistent basis longer term, right? You have to get out of your own head, understand, or it's not even getting out of your head, it's getting into your head and, understanding what your thought processes are at every moment in time during the trading session, before the market, after the market. Did you have a bad night's sleep? Did you have a good night's sleep? Did you drink a little bit more than you wanted to the night before? Did you sleep a little later than you wanted to? Did you do your prep? Did you do your routine? Do you understand everything about what you're doing in order to make good decisions when you come to the chart, having a nice laid plan, sticking to your levels? Don't do dumb shit, right? Don't do dumb shit. Out there now, live, don't do dumb shit. Just join the club. Liking the videos, sharing it with your friends, letting everybody know who you think would be interested in trading and understanding the realities of it, trading with a family, trading at home, with kids in the other room, taking care of family obligations, having a day job, understanding that, futures might be the best opportunity for you if you do have a job, because they do have, if you have time in the day, at some point during the day, they will be trading, NASDAQ trades 23 hours a day, Monday or Sunday from 5 p.m. till Friday at 5 p.m. So you have all that time minus 4 to 5 really, where you can trade, 3 to 5 if you're in the prop firm. And then just kind of consistently developing a plan and understanding that it is possible to do on top of everything and start it as a side hustle, but treat it as a full-on business and full-on idea, so you can have the proper planning, but then also understand that you're not going to be able to do these huge monster days all the time consistently, especially when you're first starting out. So like I said, I'm here to kind of keep it real. You know, the reality is you can make a lot of money, and you will if you do things correctly and you build up over time and do it right. But if you don't do things properly and try to rush through the process, the market's going to humble you and 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 take all your money. And then eventually it's just the reason most people quit is just because they run out of money or run out of patience. And my goal is to hopefully keep you patient enough to keep going. And that's why I have the channel, right? I don't have to stream. I don't get paid to stream. I don't do, you know, it would be nice to make money streaming, and maybe eventually, cool, but I'm not going to charge you for a course. I'm not going to scam you. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'll sell you some coffee because I love coffee and I drink it. And I figured that there's a good benefit to trading community. And if you want to, you could use my code PolicingPips and you get 15% off if you go to the website. So you can grab yourself a Don't Do Dumb Shit mug, shirt, grab some coffee to fill it up with, and that's all I'm going to sell you ever. And then I'm going to try and give you every little piece of information I possibly can. If you have questions, I'm going to try and provide that value to you as well. I'll answer. And, you know, yesterday I talked through a whole lot of trading mentality stuff. You know, every day in and day out, I try to give little tidbits of information that I think will help, you know, everybody try to be a little bit more successful in their journey, because I've done all the stupid stuff. I promise you. I promise. And I'm going to continue to do it. But let's see. Hopefully, oh no, it's going away. Let's see. Checking. Check. My internet seems to be okay. The stream health seems to be okay. Carlos, is it a little bit better? Does anybody else have the same issue? Let me know. I'm also possibly tapping my knee on the desk, which might make it go out. Is this better, Carlos? Let me know. Do I wait for the break, retest, pop for the short? Seems like it wants to go. 10:30 has come now. Euro's closed. Price is starting to speed up a little bit. Not seeing a huge, you know, you got a little bit of volume up. Kind of take this as the retest. Didn't quite get to that previous day low, but it did kind of do what we were talking about, right? I'm not getting any other complaints on the audio. Let me know if it's messing up. I'll try and fix it if I can. I like the short idea again. If I can get down through it. Nice aggressive seller came in there. Let's see. All right, cool. Thank you, American. Appreciate it. Russell's still creeping up. We did notice that there was the flows from the large mega cap names like NVIDIA, all these other names are kind of flowing into the small cap world, and Russell will lead up in those cases when that's the case. So I've seen Russell kind of start to catch a bid, and that's kind of the timing of when the NQ is getting a little bit of a pullback. So potentially now that may be the case again. So just be noting that if you are looking for those types of things. People loving the don't do dumb shit. Awesome. Gotta love it. Like the little pop. I may look to short this on the 100K. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go over to the 100K And I'm going to see if I get the breakdown of this level. I'm going to start to short it through the previous day low, because that's kind of what I saw here, right? That retest breakdown. If 200 fails, then I want that previous day low to give up, and then I want to kind of secure some money on my 100K account as well. I'm probably going to go ahead and lock out of the 50Ks. You may see my ideas like where I can front run them a lot. I can get through maybe this, if we can get up to this opening range high and then get down through 200. Technically speaking, that makes sense for a short idea. However, I like to confirm things. I like to make sure things are going to go my way, and then they're going to go my way quickly. So if you do like to front run things, if you are looking for that play where I said we're going to come down, kind of retest, pull back into 200, fail 200, then roll over. The fact that VWAP is still kind of flat and sideways, we do have a good target for VWAP down here. So if it gives up this low with this S&P's trying to give up the high, then potentially with NVIDIA giving a nice little wedge pattern here, if NVIDIA starts to roll over, the crack down here, you might front run it. If that's your prerogative, you could risk a little bit less, keep yourself tighter. I'm going to wait, see if I can get that breakdown through this 68. You can come in, guys. Still waiting very patiently. Like I said, I want to see that heaviness kind of come in hard, and then I'm able to capitalize on that move, that full flush through this low. If it's going to hold and continue on to upside, right? You broke, you retested, you accumulated some orders, you got that diminishing wedging pattern, could rotate all the way up and through. This is why I don't like to front run my levels, right? Because this is what happens. I don't get the confirmation. Potentially you get stopped, and potentially rolls over, or then it continues on your other way, right? So I like to wait for confirmation through my levels. This is how I really limit my risk on a lot of these trades. So if you ask why I do these things, this is why. You see this is holding. I did switch over to the 100K, so I am pretty much good to go with my 50Ks. I'll probably lock them out since I'm switched over to the 100K. That's what I'll do. That already has it. So I'm going to lock out on the 50Ks. Secured another straight green day. We've been green every day that we've been on stream, including I'm going to count yesterday as a green day because we did not execute. We were flat. We stuck to our plan. We didn't do dumb shit, and we were ready to go as the day progressed. So we want to capitalize on days like today where we can make our money and move on. If the day doesn't present you an opportunity, then you do not take the chance at the opportunity that's not there, right? Do not just hammer in. Don't do dumb shit. Don't do dumb shit. DDDS. I know Scott just grabbed the mug. I saw it. I got the alert. And some caffeine as well, because he knows it's top of the line. Caffeine, he's tried it before. He's going to keep trying it, and it's going to pass his combines. It's going to be a great day. Great week for you soon. I think this is going to roll through our previous day low. If it triggers me in and just bounces there, if that's going to be the break retest, then so be it. But I think that this might be that right there. You can see this sort of forming up right here, right now, this level right there. Is that the support? Is that the support? It's always difficult to say, hey, where's that trend line and these, where are they coming in? It's math. It has nothing to do with like, is this a very specific level? It just has to do with how much price will move up and down. Still up 1040 or up 2600 at one point. Yeah, you're going to be up and down. That's how this goes, especially in the combine, especially when you over leverage a bit. That's going to give you some good swings in these combines, right? Once you get into it where you're consistently executing according to your plan and you're not over leveraging, you're building a buffer, you're doing what we're doing here, you're going to go in, day out. You're going to make your couple $100. You're going to lose a couple $100. Your swings aren't going to be as much. And then eventually over time, you build your buffer, then you size up, and then the swings get a little bit, you try and keep that losing side still the same, but, accentuate those winners. If you increase your losers by a little bit to double your winners, right? If I'm, instead of risking, let's say on this 100K account, I'll start risking, 300 per trade, but I'm going to go 2 contracts. I'm doubling my wins while still only keeping my loss just a little bit bigger, right? So scale up in a way that's scalable, not necessarily just because. And that's something that I would be trying to guide you on. If you get a good crack of this 200 and it holds, then maybe we get that. But it's just very bouncy right now. We got 20 minutes till the stream is all finished. I think we do get an opportunity here at these levels. I wanted the overnight high. Doesn't seem like we're going to get there, especially since the S&P is trying to reject its overnight high. Never quite made 5508, which was the swing high from Friday's little manipulation. The boys may come in and say what's up. Today there was really nice, clean, good moves, and I'm okay with making the money I made on the 50Ks. I stuck to my plan as best I possibly could. I'm not taking those breakdowns, not taking those quick moves. I'm just going to take those base hits when they present themselves. And then when the time comes to catch some of these bigger moves, I will have the capital, the mental capacity, and the setup all to line up, and we'll be able to get it. Carlos, always good to see you. I hope that you had a good day, ended up green. We'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same place, finish out this week profitable. Technically, I don't think we can end the week red at all. Even if we get full loss tomorrow, 500, we are up enough. So hopefully you are doing well just like that. And we are going to continue to be on this stream for another 20 more minutes. I do have work today. Today is my Monday. So I kind of do have to take care of whatever is, ready to go for the week. So you are now getting that crack of that. See if it's going to confirm or hold. You do have S&Ps here. I am on the 100K. I switched accounts. So we secured the wins on the other account. Let's see if we can get a nice heavy break here. Finally of the 200. I did not front run my level. So if I just get wicked in, wicked out here, it is what it is. But we should get a confirmed breakdown now. And then I can hopefully get to VWAP quick and then beyond trail that out. So hopefully we can do this kind of quickly. My moves usually happen very fast through my levels, and if they don't, then I don't get profits on it. That's all. Working on this to be very quick to the VWAP. Waiting for that nice breakdown there. Okay, so we are risk-free. See how far we can get. See if we can get through VWAP. If I can get through VWAP, I will be very, very happy. I'll secure my 200 for the day on this account already. Very good there. See if we can get that full now breakdown. If I can get through VWAP here, I'll be very quick to trail through VWAP. If it's going to stop me out, there we go. We stopped out. $200 there. Take that W. Hard not to see that coming, right? Like, it's an easy $200. I'm going to take my trails very fast. And if this is going to be a bigger, longer move, which I think it could be, I think we can get through VWAP. Just take your money. Enjoy the rest of your day, right? I don't have much more time in my trading session, personally, to look for another really great execution, right? If this comes up here in the next 2 minutes and then rotates right back down through the previous day low, yeah, I'll try it one more time because why not risk it for a bigger, rotation back the other way? But for the most part, it's got to set up kind of pretty ideally. I really would have to have it all the way up to 200 to take the short again. I don't want to short it from 80, even though I think 80 could be the manipulation point. We have reaccepted into that trend line. Let's go back to here. You can see that trend line holding. Now we're below it. You can see NVIDIA rolling over there. And now we're back into our chart here. VWAP, I wanted to get to VWAP. We secured as much of that first initial ignition we could. I said if you want to front run it now, you could at 200 front run it now if you want. So that gave you another probably $300 right there. So that's a nice little $500 pop per contract. So that's up to you to decide on where you want to enter, how much you're willing to risk. Are you willing to confirm your move, or are you waiting for more? So like for me, like I said, I execute levels. If it's a little bit extended from my level, I give up a lot of money on a lot of these because I do see it very well. And maybe, like I said, once my buffer's built, if I get a little bit more in the buffer on some of these accounts, then maybe I'll cheat a little bit. But that's only if I have a very, very good idea of what I see coming. And this is more of a high risk. It's not an A+. It is pretty much A+ right here. You can see that as soon as that cracked, you got a very strong push down. You never took any heat. You could have went break even there. And then as you truly break your move, then you kind of rotate down and through. So, this now seems like a kind of a rotational type day here, right? Now it seems like this is what wants to be happening. I can't be mad at what I just did. And I just said 80s is probably going to be the reactive point, and I'm not going to short 80s, even though I think that's probably where it will react. I would like it to get all the way to 200, especially because I only have 10 minutes left in my trading session. So I need an A+, full on, whole, like true manipulation, try and trap people up through 200, then come back down and try and test the previous day low again, because at that point you feel like maybe that's willing to give it up. And then if it's up over 200 and the S&Ps is still holding below 54.90, that's when you have a better idea of, okay, this is probably going to give up the next time, because then if it leads to the downside, these are the things that you got to look for. Confluence equals confidence. You have another $200 day across 3 accounts. It's another $600 day here. So every single day, don't do dumb shit, and you will be just fine. Scalper's delight, baby. As always. Another great day here on the stream. I'm very happy with the patience that we continue to display on what we're doing out here. For me, yesterday was not that it's a turning point, right? It's just a consistency thing that I really want to continue to stick to. If I get to a point where I'm doing that every single week, week in and week out, where there's days that I'm sitting on the charts. I sat on the charts the entire day and took 0 executions. If I could do that time in and time out, time and time again, right? If I can come on the chart and not execute and give you some value on the day where you say, oh, okay, I came on, he didn't execute anything. He told me all these levels, there were moves. I could have done it because my strategy says this. He didn't take any trades. It's fine. I'm not a signal service, right? I'm here to provide value, company, and just give you a little bit of insights here and there. But for me, I think the most important thing to show you is that if you are disciplined and you stick to your plan and you don't do dumb shit, then in turn, you will get to a point where it just comes naturally. You're more comfortable understanding, and you can see that I'm doing it, right? You can see that the guy on the other side of the screen that's talking to me all this nonsense, he has already made profits, and he's consistently doing it week in and week out, and showing that it's possible to do on days that you don't have to trade. It's better to not lose money than to make, a bad trade, a good trade, and do something that's silly and outside of your plan, because that leads to bad habits, right? So if the more you can stick to the good habits, I want to show you that you can stick to good habits and make money. That's what this is all about, is just discipline. If you have Jocko's book, it's Discipline Equals Freedom. Read that. I think it's right here. It's covered up by, I have the Extreme Ownership in this, but it's basically his mantra is discipline equals freedom. As long as you stay disciplined, you can be doing whatever you want to do, excelling at whatever you want it to be, right? Take your extreme ownership to another level. If it's not your fault, it's your fault, right? Lost money? Good. Now you learn that lesson. Good. That's it. If you have that mentality, if you got that Jocko mentality, you're going to be excelling in this field, right? Do dumb shit? Good. Don't do it again. I think Jocko for president would lead to an ideal world of Americans would be completely different. Everybody, it would be a rule that you got to get up at 4 o'clock. It would be a law. Everybody's got to get up at 4 a.m. and go lift. It would be a very strong society, physically and mentally. And then there'd be a lot of just people that maybe don't live up to that mental capacity and, give up. This did go right to 200. If it fails, should be a confident short through that previous day low, right to VWAP again. But NVIDIA is kind of holding its level. So right now I'm out. Done with it. I'm going to lock out. 10 minutes to go. Now I have no pressure. It is what it is. If it sells off and melts off right now, it seems to be that maybe the market makers watch my stream. That could be it. 100%. They know, all right, he locked out. We're not going to give him any more money for the day. And we're going to melt off here, right? Like, that's exactly what happens. It's got to be. They love my stream. I only get, of the 8 to 10 to 20 to 50 people that watch the stream on a here today, basis, they're on Tradecaster watching. They're like, this guy he knows our secret of the levels. So I'm going to melt it off as soon as he gets locked out. Good. I think people think that way. I think deep down inside, people are tricked into thinking that market makers care about your stops. They care about you personally, and they're taking it from you because they can see what you're doing. And in theory, that's wrong, but in practice, kind of, it's right. It's not that it's your stop. It's just that it's obvious that that's where your stop is going to be, and it's going to hunt it, baby. They're going to hunt those stops. They're going to squeeze through stops. They're going to go run areas that are the most obvious, where the most orders are, because if I can see where orders are on my book, you got to know damn well that they have way more in-depth software that's giving them reasons to see, okay, I can see this 100 price points deep. They got thousands of price points deep. They got more data. They can see in real time exactly what's going on. They're located as close to the exchange as possible. I'm telling you, they do these things. If they can get space in the building that the exchange is located at, they will get space in the building, because they will absolutely crush the market, because it's all about speed. It's all about timing. And for them, if they can see order flow and they can see where things are going to go, they can make things move. Yeah. The shortest fiber, if they could drill through the wall and directly go into the CME group, they will. There's a book that I have right here. It's called Flash Boys. I will show it to you. I got to get it. If you want to have no trust in the financial markets, and the regulators and all that stuff, like I said, I am a licensed Series 57 prop trader, and there's going to be kids coming in. Give me a second. You got to come across all the way over. No yelling, no yelling.
Yeah, we have so much energy.
You have so much energy. Say hi to the family.
Hi, family.
Trader family, right?
Yeah, trader family.
You guys having fun today? You got your friends over?
Yeah.
Yeah. Say hi to the people and then go back hang out with your friends, all right?
Yeah.
Don't leave them alone. Say what's up later.
What's up? See you later.
See you later. Thank you. Close the door, Enz. Enz, close the door, bud. Thank you, buddy. Have fun. They don't need my coffee. They have natural, psychotic little boy energy. And it's great. I love it. But yeah, so if you want to have, like I said, back to that little preaching session, if you want to have no faith in the financial markets, or if you want to understand some real life shit, get this book. Michael Lewis wrote this book, Flash Boys, Cracking the Money Code. This is the greatest story of our age, and you should be very afraid. And I don't think that you understand the lengths that any of these trading firms are going to go to make money and take your money and beat you in this game. They will beat you. And if you are not mentally prepared, if you do dumb shit, you will lose your money to these people who know what they're doing. They buy fiber lines. They buy property close to the exchanges. So like I said, I have my Series 57. I passed the SIE. You have to understand some regulations and codes and all that stuff. In those regulations, a lot of what happened was a result of that book, but also at the same time, some of the regulations almost made it easier for them to do what they're doing, but also at the same time trying to stop that high frequency trading stuff from going on. But it happens, and it's going to happen, and it's going to keep happening. And if you don't believe it, then read that book, Flash Boys by Michael Lewis. I recommend it. It's great. It keeps you in the in the trading realm, the mentality of trading. So I feel like it's a really good book for all traders to read, to understand that you're wrong if you think you're right. It's like the best way to put it is read that book, understand the dynamics of the market, understand what some of the people that have lots and lots and lots of money that are doing this to make billions of dollars. I just came in here today to make $200 per account, right? On a good day, I make, if I copy trade across 3, I'm making $3,000, $4,000 or $5,000 on a day. That is not even like, they don't even care that kind of money. That kind of money is falling out of their pockets, walking down the street, and they won't even know. They're making millions of dollars daily, and they're manipulating markets. They're making things happen, and it's all with algorithms. It's all with computer models. So thinking that you can just click and go on the single trend line break, or you're trying to do it, every single time, try to catch the bottom, you're not gonna be able to do it. And like I said, read this book, get it. If not for just trading, it's a really entertaining book. It's well written. There's just good tidbits of just life information in there that you can learn from. It's really just, I like it a lot. That is probably my recommendation for the day. That and Extreme Ownership by Jocko. Those were the 2 book references for the day. I think something that needs to be mentioned is that I think traders that are very good tend to be readers. As much as you want to watch things on YouTube, watch videos, watch this and that, like I feel like most of what I accumulate, is actually from experience, but also from reading. Physical. I don't even like ebooks. I don't like to have the screen. I don't like to read on screens as much. I like having physical copies of books. Just old school, getting back to having a book in your hand, reading it, escaping from screens, because it'll help you kind of detach yourself from, you're always looking at screens, you're always looking at charts, you're always looking at data, and to build out information in order to be a good trader, obviously you need to have that screen time, you need to have that chart time, you need to understand what the personality is presenting for your trades. But at the same time, you need to detach from the screens, you need to get rid of that also to kind of recenter yourself and get yourself back into a point where you understand that there is more to this than just the screens. And if you can learn off of a screen, it'll help you, it help your eyes if you're like Scott and you're on a computer 24/7 for work and for this, books on tape are great too. I listen to them, but I listen to which market book did I listen to? The Jared Tendler book, Best Loser Wins. And I had to listen to it like once, twice, 3 times I continuously listen to it here and there, but I fade them out in my background noise. I'll listen to them and then they kind of either put me to sleep, or I will listen to them at times where I will want to fall asleep, right? So it's kind of just listening and going, listening, and I got to come back to it. Yeah, I've saw a couple of those hardcore histories. I think they're very good also. Books on tape is great. If you can do that, that's another good way to like have it dictated into your brain. For me, always with school, they always tell you to study and read the book or, whatever. And then, I would listen to lectures and I would read the book once and I have whatever the information I needed to have in my head. And that's just kind of how I learned. Sometimes I would write little things here and there that would give me notes, but I never really liked to write notes. That never really helped me much. If I wrote it once, it kind of wrote it into my head, but it was just more of like a key talking point or key something. So I kind of got away from that. So just listening to the books on tape, it's good if you can set it aside and just do it in pieces. Because at some point I just fall into you hear it and it's just in the background. It's just kind of noise. I do that when I'm on patrol. Sometimes I'll listen to like podcasts and books and stuff like that to kind of just have it hearing, and maybe subconsciously I'm getting it. But yeah, just for me personally, I I have a bad habit of I could buy a soft cover for cheaper. I like to buy hardcover books. I want to build a book collection of stuff that I want to share with my kids eventually. I want to have a nice little collection of like, oh, I want to pull that book from the shelf and go reference this page and just kind of viscerally feel it. So I pay a little extra sometimes for the hardcover but this one I don't think came in hardcover. If it did, I just went cheap mode because I wanted to buy it quick and get it, and I could only find it in soft cover. A couple of other books I bought that are, they were only available in soft cover, and then the hardcover was like way crazy overpriced. But I have that bad habit of wanting to buy hardcover. So obviously I locked myself out. Good reasons. This ended up being manipulation, tricking us into trying to find that short. I made my money on the short, right? So this is a good understanding of how you can make money on both ends of a trade. Short through a level, long through a level. I made money, and whoever is in here long is making more if they could hold on to it, right? Scotty, baby, I love to see when you're green. 1276 times 2 is always a nice day. I think now this market may push into our overnight highs and give us an opportunity. But like I said, I only stream from 8:30 to 11. There you go. A little bit more. It's always nice to find a little bit more. 8:30 to 11 every day, Central Time. If you're new to the stream, welcome. Hit the like button, subscribe. If you're on Tradecaster.com. If you're not on Tradecaster, head on over there. We have a really nice community, a good chat room in there, and it's really well built for trading by traders. If you want to get out of my room and go to somebody else, you don't have to go search on YouTube for it. That's right there. Quality, well-vetted traders who are going to show you what it's like to actually do this day in and day out. If you are a part of the community and you ask for it, you got it. The Don't Do Dumb Shit collection has now been dropped in Day Trading Coffee Co. website. So if you are like Scott, you went over there today and he got himself some Don't Do Dumb Shit mugs, and he got himself some coffee to fill it with. So if you feel like you want to do that, it's at Policing Pips. Policing Pips is the code. It'll get you 15% off, but we now have the Don't Do Dumb Shit collection. T-shirt, and then you got the inspirational bowl that I kind of gave it a little more subtlety to. Right here, you can see the Don't Do Dumb Shit mug that the inspirational bowl will now be letting you know subtly to not do dumb shit, right? So here we are there. We got the Don't Do Dumb Shit. It's in multiple colors as well, so you can get it in gray, dark gray, black, and white. Whatever you want. You can tell the world that you don't do dumb shit. And then, of course, you got the mug. Fill it with some of our Scalper's Delight is what I got today. Scalper's Delight. I did actually have Prop Shop Ethiopia this morning, so I had multiple ones today. So head on over there, click the link. It's in the chat pinned to the top. If you are in Tradecaster, I'll post the swag shop over here so you can see it's the top 3 products is the Don't Do Dumb Shit product line. Until tomorrow, I'm all done unless somebody's got something that they want to say. We have been now green every single day on stream since we started. We did a really good job today of executing another good, solid one trade day and done for the 100K account. Building the buffer on this one a little quicker than we do on the 50Ks, just slightly. Also let these wins kind of play out a little bit faster. So we're up 770 on this account. We are up 2,137 on the 150K, so straight up and to the right, another just good, consistent base hit kind of day. We started out with 1 loser and then came back with 3 winners and made ourselves up and then some. And then also down here, the follower, the 1 mistake trade we actually made money on. I clicked enter instead of hit a market order instead of a stop order. And made a little bit on it, but I exited right away. So it stuck to the plan of exiting on those mistakes pretty quickly. Right here, you can see green every single day, except for that first broken rule day where we did dumb shit. Don't do dumb shit, and you're likely green for the entire month of July. Tomorrow, another day where we're going to come out here and look to just take another really good A+ setup. Hopefully, now that we're rotating back up into the zones from yesterday, we'll get some good overnight levels. But overall, like I said, very good, clean month so far. The days that we did not trade, these 3, I have put notes into. So the Top Step does now allow journaling features. So I put notes in yesterday. We had no good A+ setup early in the day, working on patience and discipline. No executions as of 10 o'clock. And then no executions at all. Consider this a green day. Save. So I'm going to consider that a green day, right? The days that I don't execute, the days that I don't click buttons, and I planned on not clicking buttons, those are green days. They are you sticking to your plan, not doing dumb shit. Don't do dumb shit, and you'll be just fine. Until tomorrow, 8:30 Central, we're going to end the week off on a hot streak, and hopefully we can continue through the rest of the month of July the same way we've been doing it all month long, every day, showing you how to go and make your money and leave for the day and do whatever else you need to do. So until tomorrow, unless anybody has anything else, say your last words. I will be off and on tomorrow, 8:30 Central. Don't do dumb shit. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.